I was the chief financial officer for what at the time was an early stage startup business that was in the online space, and we were an online retailer that offered a credit card, proprietary private label credit card for consumers to purchase brand name products from our website based on a pre-approved credit offer. One of the things that is a common problem with early stage companies, and was definitely one of our problems, was that we didn't really have the in-house resources on the technology side to provide the leadership, the creative thinking, and the strategic direction that was necessary to solve the technology problems that we had. So what we elected to do, and at the time it wasn't something that I think a lot of companies had done, but we brought in Walter O'Brien and the team at Scorpion to fill our CTO slot on an interim basis, so that over the course of the time that this arrangement was in place, Walter spent between 1 or 2 or maybe as much as 3 or 4 days a week with us, filling the CTO slot, while he obviously still was engaged in his other client business, but it gave us the resource that we needed to solve some really complicated problems and get over the hump to where we could cut the costs that were really strangling the business at a certain point, as well as develop some creative solutions to some of the problems that we had that were caused by maybe some bad decisions that had been made in the past as to how technology was deployed and what sort of resources were used. And we were able to, with Walter's leadership and guidance in that area, solve those problems and then move forward at a much more rapid pace. One of the first things that Scorpion did when they came in to work with us was we were in the process of actually contracts had already been signed, and we were in the process of converting to a different online platform for the business. Scorpion was charged with coming in and really taking a hard look at the technology of this new platform and making a recommendation to management as to what direction we should go and what changes, if any, would be recommended or required to really make this thing work. And what we found out, based on the work that Scorpion did, was that really a lot of the features and functionality that had been sold to us through the sales cycle was actually something that was still under development, and the new system wasn't really ready for us, and a lot of the issues that had been represented to us as having been resolved really were not fully resolved, and there were a lot of very technical issues that Scorpion identified that were mission critical and would have created a lot of problems for our company and for our business if we had continued down that path. And we were able to sort of stop the bus before it went over the cliff, and that was really an invaluable service that was provided, and that enabled us to avert what would have been, I think, quite a big disaster for the company. One of the key recommendations and key areas that was executed or implemented by Scorpion for us was to move us into the cloud. They reduced our monthly cost by 90%. Scorpion has a sort of a by this time a well-trod path in terms of how they do all these things, and they do it at a very, very efficient level of cost, and you not only end up with sort of a world-class system for a fraction of the cost, but also you have the ability to grow your business in a way that doesn't force you to spend money up front in anticipation of something that you can't be sure of yet. Rather, when you properly set up your cloud environment, it can grow with your company only as you actually do grow. As we were growing our company, one of the things that came up was that we opened a new spin-off business that was a subsidiary and had some of the same features and characteristics of the original parent company, but had a slightly different customer focus in terms of looking at a lower credit spectrum. And so one of the things that Scorpion was able to do was to come up with a creative solution to help us use our existing infrastructure and our existing IT platform for the new business as well, without having to make a significant new investment in the infrastructure. And also it made the system a lot more automated, and it enabled us to maintain what we were doing going forward in a lot more of an efficient way. A key element of what we were doing through our online retail portal was we were giving real-time credit approvals to customers when they came to our website to make purchases. And Scorpion was able to come up with the right solution for us in terms of the not only the credit verification and the authorization for purchases, but also put in place a lot of necessary anti-fraud checks, and make sure that as we were opening new accounts, that we were actually dealing with the right customers, and that we were identifying problem areas before we actually experienced any sort of a financial loss. At a certain point, in the life cycle of our business, somebody made the suggestion, one of the senior members of management, that he'd been speaking with someone and decided that it might be a good thing for us to do to move some of our development activities to an offshore resource. And one of the things that Scorpion was able to do was to get involved in an evaluation of the vendors that we were looking at to do some of this offshore work, and not only evaluating their technical competence so that we would make sure that we got the right company in place, but also to actually break down and do an analysis of the supposed cost savings that we were going to experience. And so what we did was we put Scorpion in the role of managing those outside vendor resources. So they sat in between the management of our company and the external IT developers. And they sort of acted in the role of a translator, if you will, so that they made sure that when we tried to define what our business requirements were, that they were put in such a way that the outside vendor resource really knew what they were supposed to be coding. And what we found was that previously, a lot of the time, we thought we were being very clear with the way we would explain things and the way that we would document things, but it wasn't always understood on the other side. Scorpion was able to actually help optimize things on both sides of that equation. They were able to speak in technology terms to make sure that our outside resource was coding and programming what we needed the right way, and they were also able to speak in terms of our business requirements so that what we wanted and what we thought was the right way to do things could get explained and documented in an appropriate way, so that it actually, got taken from the stage of an idea to actually a functional, working operation that we could put out on the website and the customers could use. And so, that is really an invaluable role as far as I'm concerned, and really kind of demonstrates, in my mind, the fact that Scorpion has both the IT expertise as well as the business understanding to really make a contribution that goes above and beyond what you would normally find with a typical sort of IT consulting firm. Well, I think what I would say is that, and again, I've been around early stage companies for the last decade in senior level management capacity, and I have had an exposure to a lot of different IT vendors, and I would tell you that one of the things that you have to be most careful about is finding an IT vendor that understands your business. There is oftentimes a great sort of chasm that is separating the business side from the technology side. You want to have somebody that can really listen to what you're trying to accomplish, maybe give you some input as to what they've seen work elsewhere for other clients of theirs, or things that they've done in the past that might work for you, and then can actually come up with a workable, executable plan and get that accomplished in a relatively short period of time for a reasonable amount of money. And that's what Scorpion's done for me in the past, and I would use them again, and I would recommend that other people take a look at them too.